Hello, sixth grade. Today is our final benchmark review day. This means this is our last chance to really prep for this benchmark so we can all do as best as we can and we can reach our 60% goal. So, what I'm going to do back here is I've photocopied pages from your review packet. If you haven't gotten your review packet yet, Ms. Perez should be getting it to you very soon. But I've photocopied the back pages from the review packet. And you can go through one page at a time. You need to complete at least one page front and back, but you will get +5 for every additional page you complete. So just keep working back here on these review packet pages. I'll be sitting over here at the table, so come get help if you need it. The goal is to really get as much prep time as possible so that we're as prepared as we can be for our benchmark. Mrs. Perez is going to be starting with the same review packet, starting from the front, and so we'll be working through the back half back here. Okay, so this is all review, so I'm not really going to make a very long video, but the page that we're starting on, which is the page that says, show how to use 48 plus 30 using the distributive property and greatest common factor. This page is a mix of everything, right, as all these pages are, but I want to go over the problem where it says multiplying a fraction by one whole. All right, so at this point, we all know that if you have a number over the same number, so 2 over 2 or 3 over 3, this is equal to 1, right? We have 2 divided by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 3 divided by 3 is also 1. So these are the same, and they both equal 1. So in the same way that you can multiply anything by 1 and end up with the same thing, right? 5 times 1 is 5. 6 times 1 is 6. You can also do that with fractions. So if I have a fraction, let's take 1/2, and I multiply it by 2 over 2. Remember, we just learned that 2 over 2 is just 1. So 1/2 times 2 over 2, I get 2 over 4. This is the same as 1/2, so these two are equal because all I did was take 1/2 and multiply it by 1 in fraction form. All right, so we're taking all concepts that we know and then applying it to a bit trickier problem. So we understand this, right? That multiplying by 1 will get us something equal. But what happens when we take this concept to a fraction that has a variable in it? So again, I'm looking at these problems right here, okay? So let's look at the first one where it says try it. So it says 5n plus 2 over 3 times 3 over 3. So it's all right. So now this looks a little bit trickier, right? But we're still multiplying it by 1, or 3 over 3, so we're still going to get an equal fraction. So I'm going to do the bottom first. The bottom looks easy. 3 times 3, I know how to do that. So I'll get 9. The top is a bit trickier. So on the top, we have an expression with a variable and then a number. So I'm seeing that I'm multiplying a number by an expression with a variable. I'm going to put parentheses around my expression so that I remember that I have to multiply the whole thing by 3. And now it looks like something I'm a lot more familiar with. Now it's a distributive property. So I'm going to take this 3, distribute it to the 5n, and then distribute it to the 2. So I'll get 3 times 5n, which is 15n, plus 6. Because that's 3 times 2. All right, so why don't you guys try that second one on your own? And then let's turn the page. I'm going to go over one more problem, and the rest of this page you have to do by yourself. So on the back of the page, it says equations for tables. So I'm on the last problem of this double-sided page. So it says the table shows the amount of miles remaining in Melanie's marathon. At 0 hours, she had 26 miles left. At 1 hour, she had 20 miles left, etc., etc. Which equation represents this relationship? So we have a list of equations. What we're going to do when we see a table like this and a list of equations, the easiest way to figure it out is by substituting. So I'm going to look at hours. I'm going to look at the equations first and see which makes the most sense. Because it's an equation to figure out the miles remaining in Melanie's marathon, the miles remaining is probably going to be our y, or what it's equal to. So I'm going to substitute hours for x and see if I get the right answer for y. So our first equation is y equals 26 minus x. So when x equals 0, or when hours equals 0, it would be 26 minus 0, which equals 26. And that's correct. That's the number of miles remaining in our table. When hours equals 1, it would be 26 minus 1. That's not correct. When we look in our table, the miles remaining when hours equals 1 is 20. So equation number 1 isn't correct. You need to keep going through the equations, substituting in that way with the values in the table for x. So substituting the values for hours, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, in for x, and see if you end up with the right answer for y. All right, so try the rest of that problem on your own. Good luck. I'll be over here answering any questions if you guys have any. I know you guys are going to do great on this benchmark.